Welcome back to the final session on research methods. So we'll start with writing up literary research. Transforming research into written form requires attention to structure, style, evidence, and citation. Academic writing in literary studies balances analytical precision with engaging prose, demonstrating both scholarly rigor and interpretive insight. Whether writing essays, articles, theses, or dissertations, effective research writing communicates ideas clearly and persuasively. Organizing research papers abstract. A concise summary, 150 to 250 words, is stating your research question, methods, main findings, and significance. Write abstracts last after completing the paper. Include key terms and searchability. Make abstracts self-constrained or contained. Readers should understand your contribution without reading the full paper. Introduction, engage readers with compelling opening, present a search question and its significance, review elements and relevant scholarship, briefly fuller treatment in literature review, state your thesis or maintain argument, review paper construction, establish your interpretive approach and theoretical framework. Now let's go to literature review. Survey existing scholarship identifying what is known, debated, and the unknown. Organize thematically, not just chronically. Show how your research relates to and extend this scholarship. Demonstrate command of the field while avoiding excessive summary. Position your contribution methodology. Explain your research design, what methods did you use, and why. Describe your simple and selection criteria. Discuss theoretical framework, guiding analysis, address limitation. This section is often brief in literary studies, but essential for clarity and replicability. Now let's go for analysis findings. Present your close readings, interpretations, and arguments. This is typically the longest section organized by themes or texts support claims with textual evidence and theoretical concepts. Integrate quotations smoothly, analyze evidence thoroughly, do not assume significance as obvious. Discussion and conclusion, synthesize findings and interpretive significance connected to broader critical and theoretical debates. Address research question explicitly, acknowledge limitations honestly, suggest implications for further research, and with strong concluding statement reinforcing a contribution. Now let's move to citation style common in literature. MLA style, modern language association, the most common format in literary studies, appropriately in North America. Use parenthetical citation with author and the page number. Smith 45, work cited page, lists sources alphabetically, emphasizes author names and accessibility. MLA handbook provides the detailed guidelines. Example, the narrators or unreliability becomes evident in the final chapter. Jones 234 works cited Jones Sarah narrative technique in modernism, University Press 2020. In Chicago, style notes and the bibliography, common in humanities, especially history and some literary studies, uses footnotes or endnotes for citations with full biographic information on first mention, shortened from thereafter form. Thereafter provides more detail than MLA and allows discursive notes. Example, the narrator's unreliability becomes evident in the final chapter one. Note, Sarah Jones' narrative technique in modern Chicago University Press 2022-34. Tips for clarity, coherence, and academic integrity. Clarity. Use precise language, avoid vague generalizations, define key terms, prefer active voice and strong verbs, vary sentences structure for rhythm, break complex ideas into manageable units, revise for concision, eliminate unnecessary words, coherence. Each paragraph should have a clear topic sentence, use transitions to connected ideas within and between paragraphs, maintain consistent verb tense, develop ideas, progressively build the word complexity, ensure all parts relate to your central argument. Evidence support claims with textual evidence and scholarly sources. Integrate quotations smoothly using signal phrases. Analyze evidence, explain how it supports your argument. Balance quotation with your own analysis. Choose quotations purposefully. Academic integrity cites all sources, including phrases. Distinguish your ideas from others' idea clear. Never plagiarize. It's academic theft and easily detected when uncertain about citation error or insight of caution and cite. Understand your institution's academic integrity policies. Now let's go for revision. Is essential. Strong writing requires revision. First drafts explore ideas. Later draft refine expression. Let drafts sit before revising. Fresh eyes catch problems. Read aloud to check rhythm and clarity, seek feedback from peers and instructors, proofread carefully for errors. Professionally, writers revise extensively. You should too. Challenges and limitations in literary research. All research methods have limitations, and literary research face particular challenges related to interpretation subjectively and access. Acknowledging these challenging doesn't weaken your research. It demonstrates methodological sophistication and intellectual honesty. Understanding limitations helps you design better research and interpret findings appropriately. Subjectivity and interpretive variability. Unlike scientific experiments that can be replicated with consistent results, literary interpretation is inherently subjective. Different readers legitimately arrive at different interpretations based on their perspectives, experiences, theoretical frameworks, and reading strategies. This doesn't mean anything goes. Interpretations must be supported by textual evidence and logical argument, but it does mean multiple valid readings can coexist. Addressing this challenge, acknowledging your own subject opposition and theoretical assumptions, consider alternative interpretations and explain why yours is compelling. Use intersubjective validation, discuss interpretations with others, recognize interpretations as constructed arguments, not discovered truth. Ground claims in careful textual analysis. Access to archival material and resources, much valuable primary source material resides in archives, requiring travel, institutional affiliation, and sometimes the special missions. Rare manuscripts, unpublished letters, and the early editions may be physically fragile, restricted, or expensive to access. Digital archives help, but do not eliminate access issues. Some materials remain undigitalized or undigitized, and digital access may require costly subscriptions. Addressing this challenges plan research realistically, given resources and the time, explore digital archives and databases, contract archivists early about access producers and restrictions, consider grant funding for research travel, build relationships with institutions holding relevant materials when full access is not possible, acknowledge limitations and work creatively within constraints. Balancing breadth and depth. Literary research requires decisions about scope, analyze many texts superficially or few texts deeply, survey entire movements, or examine single authors intensively. Comprehensive breadth risks superficiality, intensive depth risks narrow focus. The challenge intensifies with limited time and resources. You cannot read everything or analyze everything thoroughly. Addressing this challenge, let research questions guide scope decisions. Sometimes breadth answers the questions, sometimes depth does. Be strategic about sampling, select representative or reflectory texts. Acknowledge that you're not converting in literature's review. The balance comprehensive surveys with focused engagement with key texts. Recognize that all research is selective and positioned. Additional challenges, theoretical database or debates. A literary theory involves ongoing debates about interpretation, meaning, authorship, and texts themselves. These debates can feel overwhelming for students. Remember that theoretical disagreements isn't a problem to solve. It reflects the complexity of literature and meaning making. Changing canon. The literary canon which texts are studied has expanded dramatically to include previously marginalized voices. This expansion is valuable but can make comprehensive knowledge impossible. Focus on your areas of interest while remaining aware of broader literary landscapes. Interdisciplinarity, literary research increasingly draws on history, philosophy, socio sociology, cultural studies at and other fields while in reaching interdisciplinary work requires expertise across this disciplines, which can be challenging, develop reasonable competence in relevant fields while maintaining focus on literary analysis. Now let's move to technological change. Digital humanities tools and methods evolve rapidly. Staying current requires ongoing learning. Consider which digital methods serve your research questions. Remember that traditional methods remain valid. Technology supplements but doesn't replace close reading and critical analysis. Acknowledging limitations isn't pessimistic, it's realistic and respondable. Every research project has constraints and boundaries. Strong researchers recognize limitations and explicitly work creatively within them and avoid over generalizing from limited evidence, intellectual honesty about what you can and cannot claim strength rather than weakens your research. Emerging trends and literary research methods. Literary research constantly evolves. developing new methods and approaches that expand what questions can be asked and how they can be answered. While traditional methods like close reading remain essential, emerging trends upon exciting possibilities for literary scholarship. These developments reflect broader changes in technology, culture, and academic inquiry. And now let's go for digital humanities, new tools for literary analysis. Digital humanities applies computational methods to humanities questions, enable analysis at a scale impossible through traditional close reading. These approaches complement rather than replace traditional methods, revealing patterns across large corpora while still requiring humanistic interpretations. Text mining and corpus analysis. Text mining uses computational tools to analyze patterns in large text collections. Research can track world frequencies across thousands of novels, identify stylistic features, characteristics of authors or periods, or trace the evolution of concepts over time. Tools like Buoyant and conc and Python libraries enable this work. Uh, Example applications tracking the rise of particular themes in 19th century fiction, identifying generated language patterns across authors, analyzing sentiment in poetry collections, studying stylistic evolution in an authorized in an author's career. Network analysis and visualization. Network analysis maps relationships between characteristics, authors, texts, or ideas, visualizing connections that might be difficult to perceive through traditional readings. Character network reveal narrative structure. Citation networks show intellectual influence, co-occurrence networks identify associated concepts, example applications, mapping character interactions and drama, tracing influence, network among modernist writers, visualizing in textual references, analyzing social networks in epistolary novels. Now let's go for spatial analysis and literary geography. Geographic Information Systems (GIS) and spatial analysis examine literature's relationship to place, mapping settings, tracking characters, movements, or analyzing regional literary production. This approach reveals spatial patterns and geographical imaginations in literature. Example applications mapping Dickens, London, tracing travel narratives, analyzing regional dialect in American literature, studying literary representations of borders and boundaries. Now let's move to interdisciplinary approaches cross boundaries. Uh, Literary research increasingly combines perspectives from multiple disciplines, recognizing that literary engages with history, sociology, physiology, media studies, and more. These interdisciplinary approaches generate fresh insights by bringing different methodologies and questions to literary texts. Literature and sociology, examining literature through a sociological lenses reveals how the texts reflect and shape social structures, identifies and relationships Methods include analyzing representations of social groups, investigating literature's role in social movements, and studying reading communities and literary publics. Literature and history, historical approaches contextualize literature with specific historical movement, examining how texts respond to events, ideologies, and material conditions. New historism emphasizes the mutual constitution of texts and contexts, avoiding simplistic reflection models. Literature and media studies. Media studies perspectives analyze how different media forms, print, digital, audio, visual, shape literary production, distribution, and reception. This includes studying books, history, adaptation studies, transmedia, storytelling, and electronic literature. Open access and collaborative research, open access archives. Digital archives increasingly provide free access to primary source project Gutenberg Internet Archive, um, Hattie Trust, and institutional repositories democratizes access to texts. Open access publishing makes scholarship freely available, expanding who can participate in literary research. Now let's go to collaborative platforms. Research becomes more collaborative through platforms enabling scholars to share data, annotations, and findings. Wikis, annotation tools like Hypothesis and collective editing platforms support collective scholarship that transcends individual researchers and institutions. Integrating traditional and emerging methods. Emerging methods work best when integrates with traditional approaches. Computational analysis reveals patterns requiring interpretation through close reading and theoretical frameworks. Digital archives provide access to material for traditional scholarship. Interdisciplinary approaches ground themselves in disciplinary expertise. The future of literary research combines established and innovative methods in productive dialogue. Practice exercises for students. Theory and methodology becomes meaningful through practice. These exercises help you develop concrete research skills, applying concrete discussed throughout this guide. Work through these uh, activities individually or in groups, adapting them to your interests and coursework. The goal is building practical competence alongside theoretical understanding. Now let's go for exercise that you can do, and they are. So number one, developing. Developing research questions. Choose a literary topic. Select an author, text, genre, period, or theme that interests you. Start broad, for example, Shakespeare's tragedies, climate fiction, the Harlem Renaissance, or representations of technology and science fiction. Preliminary exploration. Spend 30 to 60 minutes doing preliminary research. Read encyclopedia entries, skim a few scholarly articles, review critical introductions, take notes on which scholars find interesting about this topic and what debates exist. Narrow your focus. Move from broad topic to specific angle. Instead of Shakespeare's tragedies, try representation of madness in Hamlet or the role of female characters in King Lear. Ensure your focus is specific enough to search thoroughly. Formulate questions, write 3 to 5 research questions about your focus topic. Use question words, how, why, what is the relationship between, to what extent. For example, how does Shakespeare use madness to explore political? So that's here we reached the final slide. So thank you so much for allowing me to teach you research method subjects. Until next time, tata for now, and have a good day.